Hello, my Ducati viewers. Hopefully, you've been watching some of my past videos, and I think I probably got 8 or 9 videos on this bike. Just a refresher, this is my pre-owned, very lightly pre-owned 2020 Ducati Monster 821. I bought it from the big dealership here, AMS Ducati. And it didn't have very many miles. It had just a slight tick over 1,000 miles, and the previous owner had added quite a few accessories and spent a big chunk of money and himself, where I didn't have to do that. And I got this beautiful 821 Ducati. He did the first service on it and everything. So such an advantage, if you can find a really good Ducati that's really clean, doesn't have scratches, isn't abused, hasn't been dropped, that you can get that, and then you can be the second owner, or maybe likely the third owner, but second owner is the best. But anyways, I want to come to you today because I had a person viewing. I don't know if he was a subscriber, but this person mentioned the windscreen. As you could see from my past videos, I've highlighted different things that were on my bike, and some of the things I've done, like put in a Ducati quick shifter. But this person noticed my fly screen is what they kind of refer to those two, or they have for years and years and years. A little fly catcher, because it kind of catches, they just mimic that because it kind of catches, flies like your windshield on your car. Man, you drive in certain environments and your windshield gets plastered with bugs. So a little windscreen right there, it seems like it just kind of catches the bugs, but it does give you a little bit of added wind protection. But I'm going to be talking to you today about the Ducati, actual Ducati version of the windscreen. Short, smaller windscreen, very minimalist. There are some other ones. Puig, P-U-I-G. I've had many of their windscreens through the last 20 years, 25 years on almost all my bikes. They make one that's, and maybe some versions, the Puig has always made taller ones and shorter ones and wider ones. It just, they give you a variety. On this bike, I don't know if they do that. Make sure I'm in the screen. I don't know if they do that on this one. It may just be one and done. But the Ducati version, let me grab it real quick. Let me just tell you also too, a little bit of an intro. Just the other day, I was looking at my bike and I was like, man, I wonder what it's like to not have that on there, and wonder what it looks like with that little, the little additional windscreen taken off. So I was like, man, I think I'm just going to try taking it off and, and then go ride it and see what the difference is. I mean, if you don't ever try something, then you don't know what it was like before or what it was like after, and if it's beneficial. So I was like, I need to take it off and go ride it and see if I like it with it still on or with it off. I do like the look of it sometimes with it on, but it is cool with a naked look. Total naked, nothing up there that kind of gives you like you're gonna go right over the front. It's kind of cool. This gives you a little bit more, it kind of situates you on the bike, and in my opinion gives you a little bit of more awareness that you're on riding something and you're kind of in something, where you take this off and you kind of feel like you're kind of floating in space, going 75 down the highway or something. This just kind of grounds you, this little windscreen right here. But I'm going to just show you, this is, if I can bring it up, my camera will focus. This is just a portion of the Ducati windscreen. Fiberglass, I mean, it's not cheap, and I think this part's, like $300 if you were to buy this. And, obviously this stuff is kind of fragile because it can get scratched. Or, back in the day, we would paint from the backside, paint that, and then you can paint it a flat black, and on the it looks real shiny on the front because of the plastic. And I may consider doing something like that. But that's that. Just wanted to show you what that is, and it mounts right here. There's two holes and two holes right here that the screws mount into, and that affixes to the bike. But it's more than that. Let me show you. Okay, again, I want to remind you, this is the Ducati specific windscreen, and it's not one of the other manufacturers. When you go and pull this stuff online to find some information about it, there's not a lot of info that I have found, you know, but then months later there will be tons of information that shows up in pictures and data. But the internet's kind of weird, and YouTube, I think, is kind of strange in some aspects. But let me just show you, this is what it looks like without. And here's what I was trying to convey to the person that was talking to me through YouTube, and it's asking me for more details about the install on the windscreen. Now, I don't know if my video gets up really close, but here is a bracket. And we're in my garage because it's now, one day it's 80 degrees and the next day it's 30 degrees and it's terribly cold outside. So we're inside the garage. But here's this metal bracket. It's probably 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters thick. So it's not flimsy, but it's not heavy. And it mounts, it looks like it mounts. You got to take your TFT display apart, and it fits across right there. Now, hopefully the video is going to convey that. And so it looks like there's some screws right here. Sorry, some screws right here and right here. You may have to take this display apart and then sandwich this bracket in between the front of the display and the back of a display. I mentioned that the Italians are very into design and style, and you know, they didn't want this looking like an afterthought, even though it is an aftermarket part on some bikes. But they did a great job. Now, it's more labor intensive to add the bracket, but you know, that's part of what the Italians do. You know, just like adjusting the valves on the you know, on these engines, it's just more labor intensive. And but here are the Allen head bolts right here and right here, and obviously it's on the same thing on the other side. And so you just mount the windscreen, you push the windscreen on and wiggle it on, and then you mount through the holes that I showed you in the prior little video of the windscreen up close, and then you put these down and tighten them. And then I just wanted to show you, because once that windscreen is on, it hugs really tightly right here, so it makes it more difficult to get to these Allen screws or Allen bolts. And if you are just a person that doesn't care and you butcher up your screen by putting a tool in there and bumping around on the screen, but most Ducati people are perfectionists like myself, and we don't want to damage the parts that we put on. So it'll be helpful if you have an extensive tool kit. I have a lot of different tools. Let me make sure this is in the light. This is a larger socket wrench, and it's better to have a smaller 1/4 inch is what I'm thinking that's referred to as, and some kind of combination. And I'm gonna get this video done so it's not too long. But this fit the little bolts that you know, are included with the windscreen, and this allowed me to get up under there. Also too, you got to have this 1/4 inch swivel, and that helps you to you know, get at an angle so you don't touch the screen, you know, with again, a screwdriver that has a socket end on it. So it just gives you flexibility to move your tool around so that you can get access to the bolts, because the little Allen bolts are very difficult to kind of get to. But then there's this third option. If you have a long enough Allen key, and on the end they have a little ball end, and so that allows you to come in at different angles instead of straight on, which you can't do with this windscreen. So this allows you to come in at an angle and loosen or tighten the screws. So I just wanted to share that with you. But you'll definitely need to finagle those bolts, screw Allen head out of the windscreen to remove it and install it. But that's what it looks like. Well, obviously a lot of these don't have windscreens, so that's what it looks like. And I'm just going to try it out. But yet, I just want to tell people again, it got really, really cold here. It's in the low 30s, and I am not a big rider in really cold weather because I do not have $800 worth of really warm intentional riding gear. And so I'm more a fair weather rider. I can ride when it's 50, 60, but I am more a 75-degree California rider, even though I don't live in California and I live in Texas, which Texas is hell compared to California as far as weather goes. But that's it. Also, I just added these little bar ends. It came with black ones, and I found these red ones. Weighted bar ends for like $11, and I mean it took like maybe 2 weeks to get them, but if you buy the Rizoma, where are these? And they are pretty much the same thing, but with their little name put on there. These are like $60, and they were black, and I wanted to try out the red, so I don't know. We'll see how that grows on me. The red are on there, but they are very, very almost identical, very similar to the $60 ones. So $12 versus $60, $65. That's the video. Hopefully this gave some clarification for someone that wants to put a windscreen on their Ducati Monster, if it's a 797 or the 821 or the 1200. I think they are all very similar. But when you order online on the website, you want to be very specific, because at Revzilla, they do their best to try to get you the right part so you don't make a mistake and order the wrong part and then go through that process of reordering and the delay. So it appears that the 2019 and the 2020 Ducati Monster 821 are different. So different bracketry, something different. So you want to make sure you order the right windscreen for your right bike and right year model and everything, so you get the right part. Makes sense? Yeah, right. But that's the video, and hopefully you found this informative and helpful. If you want to possibly install this windscreen like on your Ducati Monster, like I said, there's not a lot of websites that show much about how to do this, because I've searched and didn't have much luck. But if you want to do this, maybe this will give you some insight. Okay, see you later on the next video. Bye bye.